This is a story about the Jubilee River. We're going to start by looking at the Merk Ditch. This is the Jubilee River looking from the Eton Road, and we're working our way upstream. The Jubilee River is actually beyond the Bund in the distance. The Merk Ditch is the piece in the foreground. You can see the exposed geotextile reinforcement in the embankment. When the water rises, when the flood water rises in the Jubilee River behind that embankment, it rises almost to the top of that bank. This is the Merk stream in the foreground, which is well overgrown with weeds. This is another view of the Merk stream. It is overgrown and not capable of carrying flood water. This is designated main river and the responsibility of the Environment Agency. We had to build an anti-traveller defence in the adjacent car park. These concrete blocks are to stop the travellers cutting through the wooden fence and then parking their caravans in this area. This land all belongs to the Environment Agency. The Merk Ditch, or Merk Stream as it is known, it runs underground beyond this trash screen. Runs underground for about the next 200 metres until it goes back into the Thames. This is the view upstream, showing how overgrown the Merk itself is. This is a view of the structure itself. And once again we're looking upstream, showing the overgrown material. This is the view upstream, showing the Merk embankment, which was rebuilt in 2004 at a cost of about £1.3 million. It's possible to walk along this embankment. The Jubilee River is on the left and the Merk stream on the right. In my opinion, it's so overgrown it's incapable of carrying water, even though it's designated main river and thus liable to cause flooding. The farmer's field in the distance and towards the right there floods. The water doesn't come over land, it just pops up through the ground. The red brick building in front of us is the water quality monitoring station. And there's the anti-traveller defence in the car parky area. With the electrical supply in the grey box. When the Merk embankment was rebuilt in 2004 at a cost of £1.3 million, A close woven polypropylene geotextile reinforcement was built into the new embankment, the rebuilt embankment. Unfortunately, the covering was substandard, and now the geotextile reinforcement is exposed along almost the entire length. So this is now the Merck ditch to the left. Showing all the overgrown material. Now this is a view standing on top of the Merck embankment, looking downstream towards the Eton Road Bridge. Gradually working our way upstream now. Jubilee River at this point is approximately 50 metres wide and 5 metres deep. And as you see it in this shot, it is running in what one might call a normal condition and flowing at about 10 cumecs, 10 cubic metres of water per second. As we look upstream, you can see that the Jubilee River has a very, very sharp bend to the left. This bend to the left that you just saw, we're actually standing on top of the bend at the moment. We're standing at the bend radius. This is a view. We were looking downstream and we're swinging now to look across the river. And now we're looking upstream. You can see how tight the bend radius is. According to the Institution of Civil Engineers, the bend radius should be a ratio of not less than 10 to 1. That is the radius to the width of the watercourse. This is the Eton College Bridge onto Agar's Plough. And this is where the Merck embankment starts and runs on for about another 400 metres down towards the Eton Road. The Merck ditch is often polluted, as can be seen here. It drains the whole centre of Slough. It's also the parish boundary. So we have the footpath on the left, the Merck ditch, and the Merck embankment, and then the Jubilee River on the right. When the Jubilee River rises, the water permeates through the embankment and underneath the embankment and pops up in the Merck ditch. It then has to be pumped from the Merck ditch back into the Jubilee River. In order to do that, they've installed electrics and pumps. This is the bridge over the Eton Road. The Jubilee River runs underneath. It had to be raised in order to allow for the water level underneath. We're going to walk over the road now. Okay, so we're travelling down the footpath adjacent to the Jubilee River. The Jubilee River is now on our right. We're going to cut through the fence here, climb the embankment. Okay, we're climbing the embankment now. And here we are on the top of the other embankment, the embankment downstream of the Eton Road Bridge. You can see the horizontal lines on the steelwork there, on the piling, that show where the water comes to at each event. As we walk on down the embankment, you can see the quality of the material growing on the embankment is not really up to scratch. This embankment was formed by just digging the gravel out from the Jubilee River and piling it up on the bank. This is looking across the Jubilee River to the Eton side. Where somebody's obviously had a picnic and a fire, campfire. This is the next footbridge down towards Black Pots. We're on the public footpath here, looking downstream with the Jubilee River on the right, and this is the Black Pots viaduct in front of us. This is where the railway train goes from Staines to Windsor, Windsor Riverside. Ah, the train here at last. So this train is coming from Windsor Riverside and going towards Staines, and it'll eventually get to Waterloo. This is the view from the wooden footbridge. There are 11 or 12 arches. You can see all the reinforcement that's been installed. The original viaduct was built about 1850 or 1860. And it was reinforced and now doubles as a weir. You can see all the rubbish that's been caught on there last time the floodwaters came through, which would have been about February 2013. The yellow buoys are put there to stop trees and branches being washed into the weir. Now there's a happy duck.
Nice, I got him pooing.
It's looking from Black Pots Weir back up towards the Eton Road Bridge. When the water comes up, it meets the underside of the bridge. This is the public footpath that runs under the viaduct, under the Black Pots viaduct, and ends up in the golf course at Datchet. This floods regularly. Whenever the water comes up, it is awash. Not only does this flood, but it is dangerous to people. The water comes out of the Jubilee River and runs through the arch on the left, or in fact the two arches on the left. This is a view of the Black Pots Weir, with the water running in what you might call a normal condition of about 10 cubic meters of water per second. You can see all the reinforcement. This is the view of the public footpath, looking upstream with the Jubilee River on the left. Every time the Jubilee River overflows, the surface of the footpath is washed away and left in a dangerous condition. This embankment here was put to stop water running into Datchet, flood water running into Datchet. And the fencing here is because all the land has been washed away and it is dangerous to stand in that area. You can see where all the rubbish was caught in the fence at the last flood event.